Nextdoor.com.au, they're sponsors of ours, and you've just got to go to the website, and it's a great way to connect with your neighbours.
Well, you just keep in contact. You're irrelevant to things that you might be doing or ways that you can help each other, and therefore you put it on the it's like on the website.
Yeah.
And then people know each other and what they're up to. Hey, Dave. Yes, Glenn. I need my dog minded. No problem at all. Drop it over. Oh, hey, Glenn. We need some board games. Oh, we've got plenty of board games. We'll drop them over at your place.
Nextdoor.com.au. Yeah, my youngest son came over from school the other day and he goes, "Oh, Dad, Ollie, his best friend, he had like a famous person staying in his room
What?
for a few nights." So I'm like, imaginary friends or whatever. I said, "Oh, what famous person?" He goes, Dad, he's the guy who drove around Paul McCartney." I'm like, "Who's that? Who's the guy who drove around Paul McCartney?" Any guesses who drove around Paul McCartney? And I said, "What do you mean he drove around Paul McCartney?" He said, "He drove around Paul McCartney and he sang songs." He goes, "Remember we watched the video? James Corden. Remember James Corden?"
Oh, yeah.
It's a great, if you're anything of a Beatles fan.
Oh, I've seen that one.
That's amazing.
But James Corden didn't stay in his... What?
No. So James Corden drove Paul McCartney around. I said, "I'm pretty sure James Corden is not staying at Ollie's house." All right. So I go to school the next day and I see Ollie's dad, Andrew, and I said, "Mate, your son's been telling a few fibs."
Because you're good like that. If you can save someone's
confront.
kids.
I
don't want to be rude.
I'm not being an asshole.
But your kid is off the fucking...
Yeah. He's got a very good imagination. Apparently, he told my son that James Corden was staying in his room. So you're gonna, and he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "That's my second cousin." He goes, that's his cousin, because his dad's sister, that's her kid." I said, "So you're telling me James Corden was staying in your house last night?" "Yeah, he stayed for a couple of days, because that's his cousin." Because of course, then I started to think, because James Corden's a former Salvation Army person. Yeah, that's where he learnt his singing and stuff. And I knew Andrew came from a Salvation Army family. And yeah, James Corden was staying in their house because he was over here doing Peter Rabbit, the voiceover for Peter Rabbit for a couple of days.
You're telling me that James Corden...
less than 10 minutes from my house. And Andrew goes, "Oh, I should have called you up. You could have met him." I'm like...
Why would he choose to stay there?
Because it's his cousin. They're family. They're family, mate.
You could stay at the best hotel in... Here's your room... what?
Well, Andrew, he said, "Well, and I go to LA sometimes, and I stay with him, with his family." Maybe it's a Salvation Army thing, because if you're from the Salvation Army, you're from quite not a poor background, but they're not rolling it at the Salvos. If you're a Salvation Army member, you're not living in a massive house.
I reckon he'd be a good bloke.
Yeah, he said he's a great guy. He said he's known him forever because they're cousins. So he remembers when he was a chubby kid singing in the Salvation Army band.
So I don't think. I hope he's not listening. I don't think he's good for a host.
Oh, he's a great actor, though.
He's a great actor. And he gives great energy in the car karaoke stuff. Yeah. But as a host, it doesn't seem like the right fit to me.
No, well, he was more well known in England as a sitcom star.
Yeah. What was that show that he did that was very popular?
I always call it Gavin and Stacey. Yeah, it is Gavin and Stacey.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's Gavin and Stacey, isn't it? Yeah, he was very... Yeah. He wrote that with the girl in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he did shows on Broadway and stuff and became famous because of that too.
Because I think our friend Jeff Stilson used to produce it for a while.
Jeff Stilson set up the Late Late Show or whatever it is and auditioned people for that role.
Yeah.
So
if you don't know who Jeff Stilson is, he's an American comedian who married an Australian girl, lived out here for a long time, and then has moved back to the States.
Well known, if you look at his CV, he set up the Osmonds. He set up...
Yeah, he was the first to do reality television like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done a lot.
Directed Chris Rock's movie about hair, the documentary about hair.
I think he would have given us a break over in the US.
I know, you think when he was setting up the Late Late Show, and he's looking at people like James Corden, he would have gone, "What about Glenn Robbins or Dave O'Neill? Give him a bit of a call, get him over, a bit of an audition? A bit of an audition to, interview people?"
Have I told that story when he was here, when he had to go back for a 50th? Have I told you that story? We do repeat our stories.
That's good. We like it. We like it.
He had to go back for a 50th. One of the producers at in the US, and he went and did it because he had to make a speech. So he flies back in, and he gets to the party. There's a few people speaking. He finds out that he has to follow, getting up and making a speech, Gary Shandling.
Oh no!
Like seriously, one of the funniest
heavyweight
in history.
Comedy, yeah.
And then he was going to be followed by Don Rickles.
Oh, my God. And didn't Don Rickles have a crack at him?
Yeah, as soon as he said, if you like Australia so much, why don't you go back and live? Go back there. We don't want you here. And he done his little funny little bit, but he had to follow Shandling.
Gary Shandling. That's when you want to,
It's
like when we talked about here about following Hitler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't want to go after Hitler.
I'd go on before Shandling, but
yeah.
Even so, you'd be even a bit. But even if you're on with, even on the same bill with Shandling, you're just going to get lost.
You know what? Let me just say, it was like the other night when I did the Rosebud Footy Club.
Yeah, what happened?
At the Rosebud Golf Club.
Someone had to follow you?
I rang up the guy and I went to the wrong golf club. And I said, I'm sorry, mate, I'm running late. And he goes, don't worry about it. Sam's up here telling stories. I went, Sam Pang? He goes, no, Sam Newman. So Sam Newman was down there. So how's this for a front table, for anyone that knows their football? Front table. And this is like Friday night. Everyone's pissed.
Yeah.
They've been playing golf all day.
Yep.
Sam Newman, Mike Sheehan, the journalist.
Yep.
Dermy.
Yep.
Dermot Brereton.
Yep.
And the chief, Jason Dunstall.
Oh, right. What heavy hitters.
Yeah, yeah. And then there was an old guy, Barry Jewell, Tony Jewell, who coached Richmond, who I didn't know because I'm not that big into footy.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I get up there in the front table. How's that? That's intimidating.
How did you go?
Oh, it's good because Dermy's a great laugher.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, the Chief's a bit more quiet. And Sam got up and said he had to leave, and he told me that. I said his son was playing netball. He said, which was a good laugh. He had to go, and Mike Sheen had already gone, but there was just Dermy was laughing a lot, and but Tony Jewell, the guy that coached Richmond, was just staring at me like a death stare.
Yeah, but I think that he would do that to everyone. He's a coach, quite intense,
tough.
Yep.
Yeah. As I told Husey, who's in the footy, he goes, well, what do you expect? You're some fucking, you don't even know who he is. And you're, because I was giving this guy grief. I'm going, you're wearing shorts and a raincoat. Is your body not adjusting to the temperature, mate? And all this, I was having a crack at him.
It's like the time I had to do a gig for Greg Norman.
Oh, God.
And I made some Greg Norman jokes and looked down, he wasn't laughing.
Oh.
I wasn't laughing at all.
Has he got no sense of humour, Greg Norman?
If you're listening, Greg, no, you haven't. And then he got up and he tried to hang shit on me.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, and it was a bit like, Greg, don't go there. Just let it don't try and have a crack back. It's a bit embarrassing. Anyway, let's.
Well, my policy is I don't sort of hang shit on them unless they're up for a bit of fun or they've had a crack at me. But at one point I said, so who's been married the longest? And I looked at that table and I went, oh, I won't ask any of you guys. And they all started laughing because none of them are married.
You want to win them. You do want to win them early, though. You want to you want to acknowledge that they're in the room a little bit.
I always go give a big round of applause for the footy legends that are here.
I hadn't done a gig for years, and I did a gig at your room, and Colin Hay was sitting in the front row because Bob Franklin was on later
From
that
Men
night.
at Work, yeah.
Colin Hay from Men at Work. I go, I don't want you to be sitting there. I haven't got about my whiny voice. I didn't want to be doing a gig in front of him.
I remember doing the Star and Garter, which was a great venue here in Melbourne. South Melbourne's closed now. The Bob Franklin used to run.
Yep.
Come out, and I was like a young comic.
Yep.
Come out, Daryl Braithwaite sitting in the front.
Oh, Daryl.
And I was emceeing, but I didn't say anything. I just thought, let's let him have a good night. All right? Let's not. He's in the front row though.
Yep.
So I'm like just doing my normal stuff, and then I bring on the first guy who's an open micer, even more amateur than me. He just goes, "Hey, how's it going, everyone?" Oh my God, Daryl Braithwaite! Lost his mind.
I was down the beach the other day, down the bay, because I like to get on the bay for a swim occasionally. Yeah. And I look across, and there's an old bloke getting out of the water and go, well, if he can get in, I can get in. And I went a bit closer. It was Daryl Braithwaite.
Daryl Braithwaite?
With his gear off.
No,
not nude.
No,
but he was just
yeah.
in his things with a towel around him. I go, g'day, Daryl.
How's that? Messed about, I caught you out. How's that? Silvery moon.
You better play the music pretty quickly.
Yeah, we all start singing Horses, which is no good. It's funny how that song has had a big comeback, that Horses song.
Oh. And who was the original? Ricky Jones, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, she's I don't know what happened to her.
No, but Daryl's making good coin for her in Australia.
He sang that at the grand final last year, I think.
Yeah, the Melbourne Cup maybe somewhere. I don't know. Is no Caulfield Cup? I don't know.
One of them.
Yeah.
One of them. Yeah, he's still doing the gigs. He's doing fine.
I know, he tours all the time.
He went through a bit of a rough patch there where they had some health issues, but I think he's doing all right now, last I heard.
Well, he's swimming in the beach with you.
Yeah.
Is he an iceberger? Are you an iceberger?
I don't know, but he's a regular dipper.
Yeah,
I'm not dipping as much in the bay. Anyway.
Hello and welcome to Somehow Related, and now please welcome your hosts Glenn Robbins and Dave O'Neill.
Let's get our topics. So we get two topics and we've got to work out how they're related. If you've never heard this before,
Yeah.
But obviously,
Glenn
you
Robbins,
just
Dave,
shoot-
I know we didn't introduce ourselves.
No, but Sam introduces us, and
Of
obviously
course,
we're pretty
of
big
course.
names because you know Dale Braithwaite, and I
you've
know
been
Dermy.
You know Dermy, so you know you're hanging.
Hanging
tough.
with the big names.
2 topics, and they are
Wasps and Paper.
wasps. Isn't it wasp? What do you call it when the letters stand for something?
A white Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is a what?
And people use it as a put down. Oh, the waspish neighbourhood. The neighbour's very waspish.
White Anglo-Saxon
Protestant. Is it all people or?
Yeah, but in this case, I dare say we're talking
It's
about.
very waspish. Well, you would go to my kid's primary school and say it's very waspish.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Where I live, in the inner north of Melbourne, used to be very multicultural, but now it's very white.
Well, for those from interstate.
Your Bayside,
Bayside,
very
so
white.
very, very white. I would say very Anglo-Saxon.
And I used to live in the west, which was very multicultural. But yeah, you go some areas like, wow, it's very waspish around here.
Okay, that's
Very
interesting.
waspish.
But in this case, we're talking about wasps.
As we say when I do comedy in the area, our children's school, which is a state school, has a lot of diversity. We have doctors' kids and lawyers' kids.
Well, I live next to 2 private schools.
Oh, they have doctors' kids.
And I just look at the kids coming out, and you just go, stockbroker,
Yeah,
lawyer,
banker.
yeah, surgeon,
Yeah.
stockbroker.
You love the
like
lawyers, and they all wear little suits, don't they? They wear little suits.
do.
And you think you're only going to get 4 or 5 years out of a suit, you kids. Imagine that. They're wearing suits from prep. And then all the way, and then they go uni, they have a year off, and then they get back in that suit for the rest of their life.
And then when they get to about year 11, they're huge.
Oh, they're massive.
They're
Yeah.
massive. You go, imagine feeding one of those. Well, you're going to have.
I've got year 10 boy, yeah.
He's tall.
Oh, big boy.
Does he eat a lot?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Gives his dad a run for the money. Unfortunately, I try and keep up. I'm like, I can't eat like him because I'm fat. No, he's skinny. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, they're big. They're bigger than what we were, though, don't you reckon? Do you reckon they're bigger than what we were?
Yeah, no,
in
they
year
seem
11?
taller and broader and.
Also, as I tell my son, so he goes to a big state school, and this is the same in any school, private or whatever. There are always kids that shouldn't be in school, right? And in our decade,
Meaning what?
Well, they should be doing trades, or
I said they should go straight.
because they're annoying the rest of the class. They don't want to be there. They're not
Right.
academic.
Yeah, they should be singled out. Someone should come around early on.
Yeah, and so what like my brother, they did this to him. They just said, you know what, you've just done year 10. We don't think you should do year 11. What about a trade?
I find that surprising because your family is highly intelligent.
No, but he was a bit naughty.
Yeah, but it was more about the naughty than it was about the intelligent.
Yeah,
your family
we're
are
not that
punching
intelligent.
above their weight.
Come on. But he.
What about your twin brother?
Glenn? Yeah, he's overseas and working for the Red Cross, and it's very hard to explain what I do for a job. Anyway, but Mark, the crux was reached when he was meant to be getting changed for the musical Oklahoma, I think it was, and he set fire to the chemical lab. So you know what it's
Intentionally.
like. Yeah, so you're backstage.
Wow.
They
It's like he's not in jail.
Yeah.
If that was what he's capable of.
Boom. So anyway, but there's kids at my kids' school where I go. 30 years ago, they would be taken aside. The naughty kids too.
Yep.
Okay, you're a bit naughty. Well, you know what? Guess what's happening Monday? 6 a.m. You're getting up. You're going to start a bricklaying apprenticeship.
Yep.
So 7 a.m. they're on the site, and that knocks the stuffing out of
In
them.
our day, it was the Navy or the Army.
Of the Navy.
Send them to the Navy, and they would go off to sea.
I don't know what happens these days. They get a job in a call centre, or there's still a lot of trades.
A lot of call centre stuff.
Still a lot of trades though too.
A lot of working in retail.
Yeah, service industries. I think they're called, Glenn.
Yeah,
service industries.
But we are actually talking about
We're talking
real
about
wasps. Ever been stung by a wasp? I've said that because I've asked that question because I have.
You have?
Yes.
I've been stung by a bee. Is it more painful than a bee?
I would. A bee's very painful.
Oh.
I tell you, the most painful is a jumper ant.
Oh,
You ever seen the jumper ants?
I
I don't know whether they have them in the northern states, but they have them in the southern states, Victoria down the coast. That really hurts. Then a bee sting comes next.
Yeah.
Bee sting really hurts, and then you swell up. A wasp. I was playing golf one day, given that I am a wasp, and I could see one hanging around.
Yeah.
And it went, I'm getting you.
Oh.
And it stung me through my pants. It just went, I don't
On the
care.
leg?
Yeah, on the thigh.
Oh.
And it came up like a fist and it really hurt.
Yeah.
And it came up like as big as your fist in my leg.
Did you immediately think, what do I do for a wasp bite?
I did.
Did you Google it or ask someone on the? Well, there should surely be a doctor.
I do that now, but that was back in the day when I didn't tend to panic.
phone.
Now I panic.
Yeah.
Now I ring an ambulance. Very painful. So if you were to be stung on the throat or around the eyes or something, you're wondering if you're stung in the throat, it could kill you.
It's occasionally you get wasp, like just a swarm of wasps.
They don't swarm.
Oh,
I only read that. I read that the other day.
So I'm thinking of dragonflies.
Yes.
You need to be in your pool, your Clark rubber pool,
and they go,
and all of a sudden, all these dragonflies would come
Yeah.
out of nowhere and swarm over the water.
It is deemed a good luck.
Oh, is it? Freak you out.
Yeah. But you look at a wasp and it looks at you and goes, seriously, mate, you don't want to mess with me.
What purpose do they serve? I mean, I know bees make honey.
That's
And we've
question.
learned on this program that flies pollinate chocolate and stuff. So people that slag off flies actually do some good.
Flies what?
They pollinate chocolate. They do some pollinating.
Did we learn that?
Did we not learn that?
Pollinate, how do you... So you're saying the cocoa bean? No. What?
No. Flies do... Okay, they pollinate something. Maybe not chocolate. I interviewed a guy called the Fly Guy once, some academic.
We have talked about that.
The Fly Guy.
And there was something about...
And I said, what good are flies? He goes, no, flies pollinate things.
Yeah, of course. Well,
like
I didn't know
bees.
that. I thought bees did all that.
No, flies do something.
And we're in trouble. The bee population is dropping, isn't it not?
No, it's terrible. Yeah.
We had a producer up in Sydney, I'll say his name, Nick Murray,
Nick.
and he had a beehive in his backyard.
Wow. Did he put it there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, people put them on rooftops in Melbourne, have rooftop honey.
So you'd have to question whether or not it's safe to go in your backyard, because if they get unhappy...
Oh, yeah. Wasps, you get a wasp nest in your backyard. Oh, not good.
Well, you see them up in the corner under the eaves a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And if you make the mistake of doing it the wrong way, poking it the wrong way, they'll come out. They'll open up and they'll look around for the thing that did it, and they'll attack you.
Oh, bad.
You know, probably the worst though is when you're drinking a can of Coke or something.
Oh, I remember those ads.
Yeah,
They get. That's why you shouldn't. They get in underneath the can
because they want
lid.
the sugar, don't they?
Yeah.
So they go in.
They bite you on the lip.
And you put a wasp in your mouth.
I remember working in a factory in the 80s, and there were ads around the Coke machine saying use a straw. Because and now of course we can't use straws because they're bad.
No,
for the environment.
So you'd have to cover it up or something.
Pour it into a glass. Have you been bitten by a spider? I got bit by a spider once.
What sort? My partner's petrified of the whitetails.
It was on my towel, and it bit me, and then it was a big rash, and so I rang up the poisons hotline.
Oh, gee.
Yeah, and I said, well, I don't know what sort of spider it was, and the guy goes, look, you've been on hold for 20 minutes. It's not a redback, you'd be dead. So
What? A redback could kill you?
or maybe it was a whitetail. Whatever he said, whitetails kill you. One of them kill you. He said it's okay. You would have died if it was a really bad spider.
I thought the funnel web was the doozy, and we
maybe it was a funnel web. But the fact was that I'd been on hold for 20 minutes, and so he goes, "You would have been dead by now." Thanks for that.
I think I dare say with the funnel web, you probably suffocate like you did with steaks. You probably just give me mouth to mouth or I die.
That's a terrible way to go,
isn't it?
Just something unexpected, like you're walking in the bush and bang.
Well, there was things going around about the whitetail that your skin would basically
flake off,
die.
Oh God!
And it would just it would fall off. But then I looked it up, and they're not as bad as they can do that, but they're not as bad as.
What if these animals get together and decide just to attack us? They could really take us out.
What's the point of a spider being able to kill a cow? Because you get the feeling that they could kill a cow.
Yeah, what is the point?
What's the point of beef? What's the point of them being that strong? You look at a bull ant, and it's willing to take you when you step towards a bull ant. It turns around and goes, "I'll take you on, buddy. I will take you on."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Fair enough, because I won't step on you." But a spider, I don't know.
Ooh.
No, I haven't been fingers crossed. Because if you're out in the garden, that's when you know what the big thing is, you leave your shoes outside.
No. Oh, they get the shoes.
Get the shoes, and you put your shoe on. And it's down the other end, and just goes, "Hey, buddy, cop this." Crunch into your toe.
Here's a question. Are you a shoes in the house person, or do you take your shoes off? When I go to your house, I can't remember whether I had to take my shoes off.
No, you never have to take shoes
off.
off.
No, I don't take your shoes off.
But when you go into someone's house...
We're not Japanese. We're not taking our shoes off. Right?
When someone says, "Can you take your shoes off?"
Oh, I'm just like, oh, God.
And you go, "Have you seen your house?
Have you seen my socks?"
You seriously? Are you...
We're not in Japan. I get it, though.
Why?
I know Ronnie Chang used to do a routine about it, you know. You disgust. I want to do his accent. You disgust me, you white people, with your potatoes and your shoes in the house. Disgust me. But But I get it, but...
I don't get it. Unless
you're bringing a lot of dirt into the house.
But I haven't been on a work site.
When you go to Japan...
I've been in the Audi down the supermarket.
Yeah, right. Maybe it harks back to a different time.
And you got a mat out in the front. I can wipe my feet on the mat. If you've got like white shag pile.
Yeah.
And you've stepped in dog shit.
There was always that one family, wasn't there, in the street where you had to take your shoes off. Take your shoes off. Guys, you've got to take your shoes off before you come in. Yeah,
and then you're sort of slipping and sliding a bit around on the lino.
I've always got holes in my socks and my big toes sticking out with a big nail attached.
Don't you throw them away?
I should, but,
I must admit, I hang on to the bitter end because I go, there's a good pair of socks. They're comfortable.
I don't mind a bit of ventilation.
You know that I think, with a wasp bite, you can spray deodorant on it. Oh, certain deodorants have a certain element in it. You need to check. They should be telling you that on the deodorant.
Yeah.
Suitable to stop you from sweating and for spider bite.
Good, I like that. Because it is... When my daughter got stung by a bee the other day, she's been stung. They run around the backyard in their bare feet, right?
So she stepped on one.
Yeah, it's happened twice.
Yeah, I've done that.
Twice bitten, twice shy, as I keep saying to her.
Yeah.
And there's not much you can do for a bee sting. You get the sting out, then you apply a bit of cold.
And her foot my foot, when I got stung on the foot, it's sort of like it went up to fill in the arch. So in other words, I just had a completely flat foot because it swelled up that much. Was she limping or anything?
Yeah.
She dined out in that for a while. Did she stay home from school? No, you got to go to school with that. Because you got a story. You should get up a show and tell.
The kids these days stay home. I've got a son home at the moment. They stay home too often. We would go in an iron lung, wouldn't we? We get pushed there in an iron lung to school. You go to school. Even though I do remember staying home and watching Midday and the Midday movie. It was a pretty good time.
Yeah.
A John Wayne movie or something.
It was good. That were the days when they had a movie on during the day. You can watch anything,
all right, well, let's move on to paper. Paper, rock, scissors.
Paper.
I love paper. Paper's a great invention.
But paper is disappearing from your life as well.
Oh, very true. Paperless society. Paperless office. Don't print this email, Glenn. Don't print it. Don't you print it. And then I did this gig the other night. Oh, it was a complete disaster.
What?
Oh,
you?
Yeah. I don't want to say what it was, but it was like an awards night for kitchens or something. And I'd done it before and done very well, but this time, and the script was a lot of pages. And I said to my son, can you print out the script for me? Because that's good for teenagers to get them to print. Because it was like 80 pages. He goes, I've done it double-sided, which is good for the environment, but not good for the...
No, it's bad. It's bad.
The woman was blaming that for the dismal attempt at the... it's hard to read.
Because you get halfway through a sentence and it goes to the next page and then you turn it open and you've got to find it. And if you're stapled too close, then you can't get it open to read the other side properly and you miss a couple of words.
I did this twice. It said, we're going to have a break now. And I go, we're going to have a break now. All right, well, let's have a break. And then I turn the page and says, from the awards. But before we do that, it's like, oh, no. What have I done?
Yeah, it's not good. Well, I'd see what I do is I get old scripts and then flip them over.
Yeah.
In other words, so the paper's already been used. So I'm using...
How exciting for you to use that as a shopping list and then you drop in the street and I'm walking along and I pick up an old Kath and Kim script. Wow, that's exciting.
It is a little weird when you flip it over and you go, well, that's Kath and Kim.
You're up a little bogan.
You could sell that.
Yeah, you could
frame it.
You could.
There's my notes on it,
Oh, man,
how to do the funny walk and all that sort of stuff.
Auction that off.
So...
Paper, I mean, how much do you... When was the last time you printed something up?
Oh, I print up something fairly regularly. I print out when I do radio stuff.
You print it up.
Yep. I print up stuff to write notes on, but that's pretty much it. I'm just trying to think. Everything else is email and
you'd hope so. But so I have to print up scripts and stuff. Sometimes.
But sometimes you'll have to print something, sign it, then scan it.
Yeah, except now
you can do it. Can you
on the phone? There's an app you can get on your phone where you can do it on your phone. It's amazing
with your fingernail.
Yep, it's incredible.
I feel a bit... I did that the other day. What did I do that for? Oh, that's a car. So I had to write my name with a fingernail. It just felt wrong.
Yeah, you do that when you rent a car,
And when the guy comes to the front door and you...
Oh, yeah, you scribble anything.
Yeah, you just...
Imagine if that actually went to court and saying, we've got your signature here. Well, that's not my signature.
Yeah, looks like it's...
I don't know what that is.
A thumbnail or whatever it is. There's not a lot you can say about origami.
Oh, very impressive when people do it. Very impressive. I got to say, I can't do it, but my kids have tried to do it. Paper planes, there we go.
Oh, well, there was that movie with Peter O'Shaw.
Very good movie.
It was a very good film.
Kids loved it. I love paper planes. We still make them occasionally and throw them around the house.
What have you got a standard issue that you do?
Yeah.
The pointy one.
The pointy one. But you can get books and they have them You can rip out the sheets of paper and they have the fold lines on them.
Cheating, isn't
and
it?
so, it was good for kids though. They're a bit of fun.
We had the one with the nose. It was a bit of weight in the front of the nose, and they'd go. They fly in the U shape.
Yes,
but they just gently come down to land.
When we were doing I think it was year 10 modern history with Roy Porterhouse.
Oh, with Roy, he was very good.
Mr. Porterhouse, he was a great guy.
Yeah,
I remember us going around to his house once. He was must have been an old guy, bachelor kind of guy.
Hang on a second.
I don't think he
wearing his pajamas.
He was a great guy.
Here's my glider.
We were. He'd turn around and write on the board, and we'd all throw paper jets. And he'd go, "Oh, for God's sake!" And then one kid threw one, and it stuck in a hole and stayed there.
Oh, perfect!
Oh, anyone
crowd would have gone nuts.
And Roy went, "All right, fair enough." Another time, we there was a storeroom in the modern history classroom, and we all hid in there. And he walked into the classroom, and there was no one in there. Oh, classic. But he had a sense of humour, Mr. Porter.
Yeah, it's okay if they didn't take themselves too seriously.
Yeah, he was good.
But someone rang my radio station the other day, said I was really strict and boring when I was a teacher.
Oh, really?
You'd sit out the front.
Yeah, but you were young. You would have been young, though.
Yeah, no, I was doing gigs at night and I was tired.
Yeah.
I was that far from falling asleep.
Did you play the guitar and a bit of a song? That's what
I was doing emergency teaching, so it was like, just carry on with your work. If you haven't got anything to do, here's some puzzles you can do.
Yeah.
And don't talk because I'm a little fragile. And then that was it. But
you didn't want to be there.
Didn't want to be. I still have dreams that I've got to go back. It's like a dream that I have recurring that I'm back doing it.
Teaching.
Do you have any recurring dreams?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about it? Do you want? I can be your therapist.
Involves the neighbour.
Which one, Keith or Tony?
Yeah. Both. I have bad gig dreams where I'm doing a gig and
in the nude.
No, it just goes bad. Or I have gigs where I've offended someone too. I have dreams where I've offended someone. I've got to apologise, and I have.
So that's basically it's just a. And what does that mean, do you reckon?
Since I've been wearing a sleeping mask, so I wear my CPAP. I have really long dreams now
because you're getting more oxygen or something.
Yeah. They're really long and involved and realistic.
I have a lot of detailed ones, but they're really boring. Like I'll go to Adelaide for a week. I don't mean that as a joke, but seriously, I go, why would I dream about? I don't got nothing against Adelaide.
I get the tram. I get the tram.
Yeah,
some
I'm
Hague's chocolates.
Just walking around Adelaide, going, why am I in Adelaide again?
There's metal balls in the mall.
God, there's
the Torrens. Well, you'd rather go to Las Vegas or LA or London.
Or, the flying dream or the skating dream.
You go to Adelaide.
I go Adelaide.
Or
the Rudy Nudie one. But anyway.
Oh, yeah, they're good.
Paper.
Paper, rock, scissors. What do you choose when you do paper, rock, scissors? Let's do it now. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh,
you won.
Scissors. I've gone rock, so you did scissors. Neither of us went paper.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I didn't even think of that.
Well, I think paper's a great invention. I think it was a great invention, and I believe...
when was it? When did it come about?
I reckon
why?
it's the Chinese. The Chinese, man, they punch above their weight. And then Marco Polo just stole everything. Yeah, pasta, ice cream, fireworks.
What was parchment paper? Was that the first? What was that?
That's the Egyptians. But that was made out of bamboo.
Oh,
so it's technically not paper, I think you'll find.
So what do they use on Survivor?
Papyrus.
On Survivor, what's that?
I think that might be papyrus. I don't know. I don't watch Survivor.
Papyrus?
Papyrus? I don't know. But the Egyptians had some form of paper, but it was made out of bamboo, I'm sure of it.
Wow.
Whereas the Chinese...
What are they?
They made it out of
Have you ever
wood.
seen a paper tree?
Yeah, they're made. Rip it off, of course. Rip it off.
But that's so close to being paper. There's not much of an invention there.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you doing? Just pulling the bark off. Oh, what's this? I'm going to write on it. Hey, fold it up, put it into an envelope. Hey, make it into a glider. I think I just invented something.
Well, should we have some thinking music? Let's have some thinking music.
Oh, you think we've said enough about paper?
I think we've done paper. Well,
what about shopping bag? What would you feel better about? Shopping bag, plastic. Obviously, you feel better about. What would you about brown paper bag?
I love a plastic bag.
You love a plastic bag?
I'm joking.
Oh,
when I worked in a supermarket, I used to pack
the paper bags.
Paper bags. Yeah.
How did you do it? You go shoom and shake it out?
Well, the old ladies would really crack. They taught you how to do it basically
because there is an art to packing a paper bag.
Don't put the pumpkin at the top. Put the pumpkin at the bottom.
It's a very American thing that people would walk in with a couple of bags. But now we have.
It's very Brady Bunch. Yeah.
But we had the paper bag with the handles on it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But now you go to buy, let's just say that you're buying Christmas. Say if you wanted to buy me a candle for Christmas, or I wanted to buy you soap, which I will probably will.
Yeah.
You go to one of those shops and you buy a little bit of something and they give you a huge bag. I say, hey, I'm working on the environment here.
Yeah, we don't need the bag.
Don't give me the bag.
Don't need the bag.
Just give me the tons of plastic wrapping.
I was a huge fan of Tucker Bag. Remember Tucker Bag?
Tucker
Where do you
Bag,
get it?
The supermarket.
Yeah, Tucker Bag was a supermarket, but the mascot of Tucker Bag was Tucker. And he was a paper bag, and he had a Mrs. Tucker, and he had little kids. And he was a puppet. And he used to go, where do you get it? A Tucker Bag this week?
I reckon he was a rip-off of that comedian that used to have the brown paper bag on his head.
On the Gong Show.
The Gong Show. What was he?
Well, he was the
Unknown
comedian.
And he made really good jokes.
With a bag on his head.
With a bag on his head.
Yeah. That was a great show. No, Tucker Bag was like a mascot.
But he had lips and
Where
eyes.
do you get it? Yeah, he's a puppet.
Where do you get it?
Where do you get it? And then they got rid of paper bags, and he used to appear on the front of plastic bags, which I always found weird. It was just signaling his own demise.
Imagine him; he wouldn't be happy.
Yeah, no.
God, things.
What do you want me to go on the front of a plastic bag? They're my enemy. Why should I appear on them?
I'm not happy.
Come on, Tucker. It's a company spirit.
I want it back, brown paper bag.
Bring him back.
With all the other bags.
Well, if he's still alive, he'd be happy to know that brown paper bags are making a comeback. So you go.
They are. But
you go to your more organic fruit shop, and they got brown paper bags.
15 cents though.
Yeah,
which is absolutely fair. Anyway, okay. I think we've said enough. What about wallpaper? We haven't talked about wallpaper.
I love wallpaper.
I don't like it. It makes the room smaller.
It's making a comeback, Glenn. We've got wallpaper in our bathroom. Feature wall.
Is that a good idea?
It's got sailing ships on it, so it's got a kind of a summery feel.
Meaning that there's a lot of steam in there.
Yeah, I know. The teenagers do have long showers. But wallpaper, featured walls are making a comeback, Glenn. This is what's happening.
Well, we used to say to my dad, if we went to the toilet, we'd say, Dad, you made the wallpaper come off. That was so bad what you did in there.
The wallpaper's peeling.
I find it not oppressive. I just find it claustrophobic. And there's something I would You
don't like it?
Don't like it.
Don't like it.
Look, maybe a feature wall. I love you. I don't mind your feature wall with a bit of wallpaper. But I find myself just looking at it going, oh, well, they didn't match that.
Oh, yeah, it's got to be well done. It's got to be quite precise.
Sometimes they don't quite get it right. You go, well, you missed that. I can't look at that wall now.
What are the great toilet paper? We love toilet paper. How much do you love toilet paper? Do you have a favourite toilet paper?
Oh, what are the big ones now?
Oh, there's sorbent. There's hypoallergenic. Do you get hypoallergenic toilet paper?
What does that mean?
I think it's for more sensitive bottoms.
I know a friend of mine said he had a problem with his bottom and he had to wipe his bottom with cotton wool. Oh. He said once he went there, he couldn't go back. He said he couldn't go back to toilet paper after cotton wool.
Well, now it's very disturbing in supermarkets. There's bottom wipes for adults.
For what?
Adults. So you have baby wipes for babies to wipe up their poo, right?
Yeah.
It's like a wet wipe.
Yep.
They've now got them for adults in supermarkets.
Oh.
Like a wet.
Let's not get too much into my personal activity, but oh yeah.
You like good. A wet wipe? Oh.
Did I tell you the story about that?
Oh, no.
This is not appropriate. Look, okay. Are we allowed to sort of have a warning?
Why don't we do it at the end?
It was pretty funny.
Yeah, we'll do it at the end.
I'll do it at the end.
Do it at the end.
Turn off early
if
you don't want to hear the story.
Well, let's have some thinking music.
First time I used a wet wipe.
Let's have some thinking music.
So what do you? Okay, so we could. How about sound effects of wasps?
No, we don't want that. That's horrific. We just had.
They're mad.
What about a great toilet paper or Kleenex ad? What about the toilet? Remember the toilet paper ad?
They go back way back. With
the fat little kid from Hey Dad. Wasn't Matthew Crock in there?
Yeah, but it goes back earlier than that.
There's even earlier.
What's the song? What's the sorbent? Sorbent the bathroom. You sorbent.
So, well, let's have one of those ads.
And one of those ads, Sam. If you can find something in that department, that'd be well accepted.
Thank goodness for sorbent. It's Australia's favourite way to get the day underway. Thicker, softer.
There you go.
Oh,
yeah, but it just makes you sing along.
Memories. All right, well, let's have a crack. What are you thinking?
All right.
Because we've got to get to your wet wipe story.
See, put the bar up.
Wasps and Paper. Okay,
I'll have a crack.
Go on.
I'm going to say, I don't need to say I'm going to say, but I'm going to say.
You're going to say?
That when wasps I've never seen a wasp
make love.
I've never seen one up close. It appears to be a waxy sort of thing. I'm going to say it is, in actual fact, paper that they have, because I know wasps feed on bark.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So paper comes from bark, so the wasp's nest is actually paper, and people found it and somehow made paper. But they made the observation about paper from what wasps did.
Oh, you're very good. I was going to say paper is wasps are allergic to paper, so it's like one of those things that's an urban myth, but it's actually true that if you put a piece of paper on your front door,
that's good.
The wasp nest won't form there.
Oh, that's good.
What is the answer, Sam?
Around the 1st century, a Chinese official noticed paper wasps assembling nest in his garden. Paper made out of plant-like fibers was invented by the Chinese Kai Lun, who in 105 AD mixed textile fibers from the bark of the mulberry in water and produced sheets of paper from that. Paper is one of the 4 great inventions of ancient China, along with printing, gunpowder and the compass. I'm unsure if the wasps were called paper wasps 2,000 years ago, but there's more in the episode notes if you would like to research it.
Well, that's interesting. So
you were right.
Right. But having said that, surely they would have seen a paper tree before they saw what because I reckon the wasps are doing something to it, but they're spitting on it or something. Or they
I don't know, but Karl Lun, or whatever his name was, he was onto it. He noticed it.
It's interesting that because remember we talked about how Velcro was made. He saw the dog came back and was wandering through the grass, and he had burrs in his on his fur, and they went, "Oh, I'm going to make that into a product." So he's seen a wasp,
nest, the papery nest, like you said. It's incredible. Wow. So guys, there's $1 million ideas out there. You just got to watch nature. Nature knows.
Nature does it better than us.
Nature does it the best.
You have been listening to Somehow Related with Glenn Robbins and Dave O'Neill.
Okay, let's hear your story. Okay, here we go. The first time you used a wet wipe.
I'm going to...
You go on,
I'll just go into it. Okay, I'll just go into it. So, okay, so it was late at night. I went to the toilet and then I did what I had to do. And then I used the sorbent. Then I had noticed that on the...
on the toilet paper?
No, on the bathroom bench, we had one of those wet wipes.
Wet wipes.
So I leant over from the toilet, stood up in the doorway and got the wet wipes and thought, well, I'll just give it a crack. So rather than move any further... I bent over to apply said product and slammed my head into the wall jamb and cut my eye open. And blood spurted everywhere. And it was like late at night, and I'm going, Selena. She goes, oh my God, what did you do? How did you do that?
Well, I was wiping my bottom.
Well, I was doing what a man has to. I wanted to try the new things that you bought, and I just didn't happen to get out. Because when you're in the toilet section, you got plenty of room to bend forward. But when you're in the door section, your head just goes smack into that. And when you cut yourself over the eye, the bone is very close to the skin.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's when people get that in boxing.
Yeah, so she put those little steri strips on it.
She's the nurse. She fixed you up.
Yeah, so I had those little strips over for a couple of days. Just pretending I was in a fight. Because if you get in with your mates, what happened to you? No, I got in a bit of a fight. Did you do that wiping your ass? All right, I did. I didn't want to end on that note, but it came up organically. I wasn't aiming to tell that story.
It's a good finish.
And I apologise that you have to... Now you can't get that image out of your head. All right, look, if I ever did it...
It's like when we talk about burgers, now I feel like going to the toilet. No, you better talk about going to
if I did an interview with a magazine, I would never talk about that.
No, so it's what an exclusive scoop.
I've given you that. That is at the coalface exclusive. I wouldn't even put it in my biography.
No, well, why would you?
Come on, that's a good story.